Right. Do you hear
All right.
the girl saying, "As mating
I
is beautiful"?
do.
Yeah,
This,
you do too.
yes,
Oh, okay.
I
I thought it
do.
was just me.
I
Like,
do. Hello, everyone. Welcome to our next very special episode of Pedagógico. I'm here with my buddy Rudy Machiello. I'm sorry, man. I wanted to play a little bit with your name because we're going to talk about that, aren't we?
we definitely are. Are we? Hmm?
Maybe. I'm not
It
sure.
depends on you guys. It depends on what people want. Depending on what they want, they will see what we are going to talk about this in a moment. Depending on what they
Definitely.
do, they won't. It's a surprise.
It's getting too confusing for me, man. I think, but that's the cool thing. I mean, we've done it all. We've talked about everything you guys could possibly imagine. And then we had a crazy idea and we're going to try it out today. So it's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to it. Yeah.
Yes, yes, guys. Hopefully it's not going to be that confusing at all. At least we were having this discussion, right, dude? And it was kind of like clear, kind of.
Yeah.
It
Like
was kind of
that's the
clear.
feeling we get after
Yeah.
every meeting we have, right? That
After a
this is going
long
to work out.
discussion, I think we
We're going
found
to
a
make
way
this
to
work
make it
out. Yeah.
clear and logic. So hopefully you're going to understand what you will have to do in order to be with us next Sunday, at 6 p.m. on Instagram,
Yes.
you know. But this episode, we're going to talk about language acquisition and
Yes.
again, but in depth.
In depth and in a very different way, right?
Yeah.
Because we're going to go over the definition, the origin of this term, right? Language acquisition.
Yeah.
But then we're going to focus on different aspects of the theory. And then you guys will have the chance to interact a little more with us in a different way, right? So,
Mm,
should we start by defining language acquisition?
I guess so. Yes, of course, of course. When we talk about language acquisition, I think this is a very broad term, you know,
It is, man. Yeah.
because there's a lot of things involved when we talk about language acquisition. And acquisition is different from learning. Are we
It is.
talking
Yeah.
about phonology? Are we talking about universal grammar? Are you talking about social interactions? Are you talking about cognition,
Yeah.
behavior, blah, 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 blah? So, yes, language
Definitely.
acquisition is all these things
Yes. And
involved and
definitely
intertwined and working
intertwined.
at the
Yeah.
same time. That's the most important thing, working at the same time.
Yes. Yeah. So this is kind of fun because I remember teaching a lesson about this. And I remember that one of the big questions was, what's the difference between learning and acquiring something, right? And well, it's not that we always learn and we always acquire different things, right? I think they are mixed in a way.
Mhm.
But acquisition is much more related to implicit mechanisms and like subconscious. You're not really making a conscious effort to, let's say, update the knowledge or grasp something. But then learning has a lot to do with consciously putting in the effort for you to make something click in your brain's cortex,
Yeah,
right?
you
You want
connect the
to create a
dots. When
new.
you learn,
Exactly.
you literally connect the dots.
Exactly. And then for those of you watching us, think about kids and adults, for example. Who do you
Yeah.
think acquires more, or uses more implicit mechanisms to have a language, let's say, and who uses more explicit, more systematic mechanisms, right? So I think it's kind of, I don't know, I have a feeling you're going to answer that kids normally they use more implicit mechanisms because they're still developing their cognition, right? They're still
Yes.
developing a lot of things in their brain. So they're not really aware of what's going on. They're just picking up what's there in the environment, right? In a way.
They are making attempts, right? So
Yep.
whenever they're exposed to a certain language, well, at a very early age, they start learning the conventions of the world. So they don't know, for
Exactly.
example, what a handshake means. They don't know what waving means. They don't know what anything means. So they're,
Yep.
kind of like learning all these, world conventions. And language is all about conventions as well, because we're trying to convey, convention,
Yes.
convey, but don't,
Yeah.
uh,
Great.
They're trying to convey their message. So they are exposed to the language and they are making attempts like, okay, so
Yep.
I got this. Let me try to do that. And at first, of course, there we talked about phonology, and we're not getting into that deeply now. But phonology,
Stay
for
tuned.
example, stay
Yeah.
tuned or
Yeah.
not, you get it. You guys will
Well, you're
understand.
lost, right?
Yeah, you're lost. So for phonology, for
Yeah.
instance, if a kid or if an infant tries to reproduce the word glass for the very
Yeah.
first time, the kid is not going to master the replication or the reproduction of the word
Yeah.
glass
No way.
because
Yeah.
there's the infant is going to produce something maybe completely nonsense, like maybe some
Def-
gaga or some,
yeah, Gaga.
you know, and then later with time, they are going to
Definitely.
start producing the sound and pointing at the product. And then we adults are going to make out, oh, so you're trying to speak glass. Okay. And we're going
Exactly.
to, for those who have kids or for those who teach very young kids, this is really important.
Yeah.
Whenever a kid points at something, repeat the word out loud and enunciate well so that looking at directly at the kid so that the kid really gets everything that you're producing. This is
Precisely.
really
Yes.
important, you know. And
Most
of course
definitely.
it's more attentive, whereas with adult learners, no, with adult learners they do connect the dots because they already have
Yeah.
strategies. So it's a more
That's it, man.
cognitive
Yep.
um, work, you know.
Definitely. Yeah.
I don't think this is
More
a I don't
conscious.
yeah, I
Yeah.
don't think this is a good term, but for lack of a better term, I'm going to use a more
Yeah.
cognitive
Yeah.
approach because they're connecting the
Definitely. Yeah.
dots, you know. But uh, that doesn't mean that
Yeah.
adults already because kids are going to learn they are doing it implicitly because they
Yep.
already have uh, a linguistic device. We're not talking about
Ah.
this. Or adults do that as the but adults,
Yeah.
they do have a linguistic device.
Huh.
Not an innate one, not a biological one, but we do have a linguistic device,
Well,
you
we're
know.
gonna talk about, but you mentioned something very important, man. Which is do adults actually use the same mechanisms as kids in a way, but to a lesser degree? Let's say to think about whenever adults are immersed in an environment where people are using that target language, and then they start kind of picking up things, but then they will make a more conscious effort to systematize that because they use strategies. They have learning strategies that they have learned, they have created throughout their lives, and that is part of their repertoire, right? So they use those things to learn more effectively. And then maybe that's why we confuse things. We say that kids are better
Let me ask you a
language
question now,
learners.
dude. Let me
Yeah,
ask you
yeah,
a question
please,
using
please.
what you're exactly what you're telling
Yeah,
everybody. Let me ask you a question. Um,
yeah,
when these learning strategies,
yeah.
where do they come from? Do they come from social interactions or not? Very briefly, please enlighten us.
Oh, yes. Well, we can say that everything that has to do with humans will come from two places, basically: genetics and nurture, right? Nature and
Yeah.
nurture. So we will be born with certain mechanisms that will start being activated, let's say, as we grow older, as we reach a certain degree of maturity. But we will most certainly learn many of those strategies by observing other people,
Yeah.
by looking at others, because as actually not animals can do that very well. That's why we are very successful animals.
Hmm.
After all, we are animals, but we
Hmm.
can learn by observing others. We
Some are more
can, we
animals
are
than
primates,
others.
we are primates, man. So
Some are more animals
it's
than
not
others.
exactly, but that means that if you are, and this is the key role of being in an environment with other people, isn't it? So if there's the physical presence of another person doing something affects you, and affects you not only in terms of what you can do later, but really it changes the wiring of your brain to a certain level,
Yeah.
because you will be able to pick up what, some cues of whatever the person is doing, and apply those things to something else so you can learn and do something different. And how
Yes.
cool is that? So,
That's
we've
super
been talking
cool.
about nature, nurture, genetics,
Wow. We have
interaction.
something. I think we have an agenda here. I think we have an agenda. Yes, but
Should
that's.
we tell them?
I think it's really important before we
Yeah,
explain how this whole episode of Shop Pedagógico is going to work out, because
yeah,
right now they're going to be like, okay, so this is recorded. That's not going to be live. Oh, these two guys
yes.
are like superstars. They think they're celebrities now because they're not going to be live with us anymore. No, we are going to be live
Well,
with you guys this Sunday at 6 p.m. as usual. Nothing is going to
yes.
change, only the format. The format is a little bit different.
Yeah.
Because, of course, in language acquisition, we selected two fields of study that are basically antagonic fields of study,
Yes.
very antagonic, like um, water and oil, uh,
Yeah.
the
Water
Beatles and
and
the
wine.
Stones.
Yeah.
Beatles fans don't like the Stones fans, and vice versa.
True.
Real
I do
Madrid
like
and
both, I have to say.
Barcelona.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't like the Stones.
Oh man, I like some of their songs,
I'm a
but yes,
diehard
they're
Beatles fan. I'm
opposite.
a
Okay, all right,
fat
they're
boy for life.
opposites.
And what are we going to do now? As Andres said in the very beginning of this very special and interesting episode, right
Yep.
now, you're going to choose which field of study do you want to
Yes.
hear, do you want to watch. So all you guys have
Yes.
to do is choose one of the options that are going to be maybe somewhere on your screen, maybe appearing on the screen
Yes.
right now. I don't know how I'm going to
Haha.
do that, but I'm going to find a
Yeah,
way to
we're
do
still
that.
deciding.
We're still deciding, but it's going to be right in front of you right now, and you're going to choose which one do you want to watch. Do you believe is going to be more useful for
Yeah.
for your for your job, for your
Yeah.
formation as an educator, and then on Sunday, you're going to watch us live
Ah,
to wrap it up. So
to
the
wrap
next
it
30
up.
minutes, it's up to you. Are you going for option A? Are you going for option B? Who knows?
You
You
choose.
know.
Yep.
It's not up to us. It's up to you guys, right, Andre?
That's it. How cool is that? Well, I think,
Hopefully,
I
cool.
think,
Very cool.
and if Rudy agrees with me, we should actually tell them where we got the inspiration for this episode,
Oh yes, please,
because it
please.
doesn't it doesn't need to be as dark as, but you know, because we're trying to actually use a lighter tone here.
Yeah.
We want things to be fun, but we did get this from Black Mirror. So if you guys remember correctly, one of the last
Bender,
episodes of Black Mirror,
Bandersnatch, Bandersnatch.
Bandersnatch, I
I
think
guess so. Yeah,
Bandersnatch, that's the
yeah.
one. And you could actually interact with the scenes and select which way you were taking. Were you going this way? So is the character going to do that or that? And that's exactly what we want to do. And I know it's a little creepy now that I've mentioned it's Black Mirror, but you know what? I think that's the future of technology, right? So you're
Yeah.
going to have to select a path. So it's up to you. And the next couple of minutes will be about either A or B. You
Yes.
select.
Social interactions, generativists, you know,
Yes.
which one? Do you think universal grammar is the thing, or do you think we're all born with this linguistic predisposition?
Yeah.
So then you're going to select this video. If you think, no, 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 it's all about social interactions. This social
Yes.
interactions are key, a fundamental, it's essential for language acquisition. Then you're going to select the other video. And then on Sunday,
Yes.
we're all going to be live to wrap it up and to interact now live with you guys.
Yes.
Okay. So one of
And
these two videos.
exactly. And please, when you watch the videos, be ready to make your contributions on Sunday, because we're going to use you guys to share what you got from the videos. How about that, huh?
Yes, yes. So, guys, I'll see you in the next video. Yeah.
Yes. See you.